This is Hayes Q Jones, your DVD and Blu-ray baller on the budget, and this is HQ Videos for you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you're a current subscriber, what's up? I greatly appreciate it. Come on in, make yourself at home. You know the routine. This channel is for movie lovers and collectors of all type of formats and genres. It doesn't matter if your format's 4K, VHS, Laserdisc, DVD, Blu-ray, digital, 3D, Betamax, doesn't matter. Same with the genre, horror, drama, sci-fi, fantasy, whatever it is. If it's a good movie, even if it's a sucky movie, you guys are all welcome here. And this week's video is a collection video because we're in the Halloween season. I want to stick with the horror genre. And these are my vintage movies. When I say vintage, I mean Laserdisc, VHS. I do have one collector horror DVD set at the end, so stick around for that. But I'm sure some of you newer collectors, Blu-ray, 4K, probably wonder, why does anyone keep Laserdisc, VHS? It's more for nostalgic reasons. It's a piece of media history. Physical media is something tangible, something you can hold on to. For some reason, when I pick up those things, it brings back memories of those days of going to Blockbuster, looking for that perfect movie, or catching those Blockbuster sales for movies for $20, things of that nature. Brings back memories of silly things, just like VHS rewinder machines. You just had a machine just to rewind the VHS tapes. And another reason I keep these VHS, was ones I've actually converted to DVD, they have trailers on them that the converted DVDs or Blu-rays, a lot of times they don't have. I believe that's because a lot of times you have movies, the rights changed companies, so they don't carry those trailers over. So it's great to see some of those old VHS tapes, seeing those obscure trailers of movies you either never heard of or you just plain forgot about. So there's a couple reasons why I just love this old format. Again, it's not very practical because I've updated most of these to DVD or Blu-ray, though again, it's really nice to have. And some of these things, VHSs, they're actually becoming collector's items. I know some of these people are actually sending them off to be certified and they're boxing them. So I don't think I'll go to that extent though, but I have them in my collection. Hopefully one day if I can actually have a man cave and I can actually display these and not keep them in boxes. But without further ado, sit back, relax, have a drink of a smoke, and I'll catch you on the other end of this video. We're back at the Black Cave. Back at the Black Cave. We are back at the motherfucking Black Cave. I'm going to do a little bit out of order as far as formats go. Right after VHS, they had Betamax, but I don't have any Betamax, but they came out with Laserdisc. This is actually the first type of disc. There was another disc, I think, that came in a plastic encasing though, but this is probably the most popular format as far as disc go after VHS. And I'm going to start out with MGM, United Artists, Species, with Ben Kingsley, Michael Madsen, Alfred Molina. I'll probably know the face if I see it. And I forgot Forrest Whitaker was actually in there. This is sci-fi. I know they had a trilogy. I'm not sure if they had a fourth one or not. They have the Blu-ray, I believe, in a set, but it's an import. I don't think they ever did an American release, so I'd love to see all 3 or 4 of these on Blu-ray, like for Shout, Kino, or something like that. But we have Species. The next one, Disturbing Behavior, with James Marsden, Katie Holmes, and Nick Stahl. I believe the Blu-ray is out of print for this. I also have this in the Blu-ray. This is another MGM release. And might as well show you the disc also while we're at it here. That's the cover, and that's the disc. I try not to touch those. Even though, if I remember correctly, these aren't as sensitive as disc and Blu-rays as far as fingerprints go. I don't recall any of these ever skipping. So, Species, Disturbing Behavior, pop out the disc. This makes so much more sense, having like little cover over it so you don't get fingerprints. That makes so much more sense. Disturbing Behavior. Next we have the horror comedy, Eddie Murphy, the beautiful, lovely Angela Bassett, and Wes Craven's Vampire in Brooklyn. This is a Paramount release, Pioneer Entertainment. You have the flip side here, and you have the actual disc. And for all you guys who aren't familiar with Laserdisc, when they came out, I guess they didn't know how to compress, or they didn't have the compression technology back then. So the first part of the movie is on the first side, and the second part of the movie is on the second side. So my first Laserdisc player, it's kind of annoying. You're kind of getting to the groove. All of a sudden it says flip disc. But I actually upgraded to a newer Laserdisc player that automatically flipped it, or it didn't flip it, but it actually was able to play from the bottom. So I didn't have to flip the disc. So just a little Laserdisc lore for you. Vampire in Brooklyn. Next, we have In the Mouth of Madness, John Carpenter's with Sam Neill. Love this movie. Love this movie. Essentially, it's almost like the television series From. You have this writer similar to Stephen King, and you have this investigator trying to find him, and he gets to this town that he can't get out of. So, very cool picture. This is actually an Image release, New Line Cinema. I don't know who has the rights to this. I don't know if it's Shout Factory or Warner Brothers. Can't remember at this point though. But great movie. If you haven't seen this, check it out. In the Mouth of Madness. Next, we have a classic, and I mentioned this in my last video with the movie The Cursed, as far as being elevated type of horror, just not slasher, not action, but more drama. Getting to the characters. Dracula is a perfect story of this. Gary Oldman did his thing, Winona Ryder, Anthony Hopkins, Keanu Reeves. So great movie. I haven't seen it. What I loved about this is I didn't read the book Bram Stoker's, though. With my understanding, this was more towards the book. It's not Dracula as a somewhat of an evil person, but someone driven by love and revenge. It's actually some of a love story. And this is so long, they actually had it on 2 discs, 4 sides. So if you haven't seen this, and it's the Halloween season, do yourself a favor. Definitely check this out. Bram Stoker's Dracula. And these are my horror laser disc. Let me readjust the frame here, and we'll go into my vintage VHS horror collection. Hold on. All right, let's jump into my VHS collection. We have Stuart Townsend and the late Aaliyah, who was taken from us way, way too early. I think she was just starting to come into her own, definitely as a singer, but as an actress. I could easily see her career being somewhat similar to Jennifer Lopez if she had lived. Just a beautiful spirit, I thought. It was very tragic when she died in that airplane crash. But this is the Warner Brothers release, Queen of the Damned. Next, I don't remember this. I know I've seen it. I think I had to copy this onto a DVD, Autopsy, and that was one of the hardest things I had to do when I had to get rid of a lot of my VHS tapes, because again, from the size of it, you see, it's not practical. I think I had at one point about 200 to 300 VHS tapes, enough to fill up a whole closet. So I had to scale down, and I got the ones that were sentimental to me, or I just thought they were very unique. This one, Autopsy, very unique. The special case, not the normal VHS case like these. And just a very cool horror picture. Again, I don't remember the details. I'm gonna have to go back and watch this. Autopsy. And this is a, who released this? Oh my God, Anchor Bay. This might be one of my only Anchor Bay VHS tapes, 1973. Next, another movie I don't remember, from the creators of Reanimator, Progeny, Evil in a Bottle. And this is a Sterling release. It's one of those independent horror movies, Progeny. Next, I remember this movie. I actually have the, I believe it's a Twilight Time. It's either Twilight Time or Criterion. I believe it's Twilight Time. They have the Blu-ray of this. Love this movie. Freaks my wife out. There's a scene with spiders in it. If you haven't seen it, I don't want to spoil it for you, but there's a scene with spiders in it, and that freaks her out. She has a thing about spiders. HBO video. Really, I didn't know it was HBO. Interesting. Very interesting. Orion, that's what it is. It's an Orion movie. That makes more sense. Orion. And this is the tape, 1987. Believers. And just to show you, I'm going to show you the tops of all these. This one doesn't have a top. And the top Queen of the Damned. Next, I'm sure I kept this mainly because of the lenticular cover. You don't see too many lenticular VHS covers back then. Of course, you don't see them now because VHS is pretty much outdated. It's an Avalanche release. And I'm sure I kept it because you have the red disc. You don't see these very often also. 1999, Believe. Next, I have this on VHS, as you see here, DVD, and 4K. I didn't get the Blu-ray. I was actually able to get like, I think it was a 3-pack of John Carpenter. I think it's The Fog, Prince of Darkness, and Escape from New York. I believe that's the 4K. It's the MCA release, MCA home video. Great movie. What's wild, Alice Cooper, he has to be like, what, 150 years old? Looks exactly like he does there. He hasn't changed a bit. He looks exact. He can't be human. He must be some demonic force. He looks exactly the same as he did back in, what year is this? 1988? 1988. Prince of Darkness. Next, we have Fright Night. I think also this was a Twilight Time release on Blu-ray. Great 80s horror. What's my man's name? Roddy McDowall. Roddy McDowall, he was the original Planet of the Apes. Didn't realize this is a director written by Tom Holland. Well, I forgot that. And it's another RCA release. The Hi-Fi Stereo. That's a girl from Married with Children. Roddy McDowall. Oh, this was a special one. Most of the VHSs, the bottom is open. This one opens from the side. I forgot, do all these have the side? Yeah, Prince of Darkness. Oh, this was a Hollywood video rental. This one doesn't have anything. Same with this, nothing on this side of that one. Oh, Hollywood Video. It's one of our rental places. opening that one. So Fright Night in the special packaging. RCA release. Next we have the George A. Romero's classic Night of the Living Dead from 1966. Night of the Living Dead. Next, the classic horror from the Black exploitation period, Blackula. It's Orion, and who was the... I think it was the distributor for this one. I have no idea. High quality video cassettes. I have no idea. But next we have Blackula, Orion film, and this guy was actually a thespian. He was a Broadway actor. He couldn't find any leading roles in television, so he was kind of regulated to doing black exploitation movies such as Blackula. This is a Soul Cinema release, Soul from Orion. Follow it up, we have another Soul Cinema release, Scream, Blackula Scream, with the beautiful Pam Grier. And this is MGM. Wait. Oh, that was Orion. This one's actually MGM. And this is the old blockbuster. Please remember to rewind. Scream, Blackula Scream. Next, we have J-Lo, Vince Vaughn, Vincent D'Onofrio, The Cell, and there's a message on the back. It was actually a gift. I'm not gonna let you read that, so you can't see the back on this one. The Cell. It's actually a present from someone. And this is New Line Cinema. With this New Line Cinema release. The Cell. Next. And I believe most of these I just mentioned, except for Autopsy and Progeny, I have on DVD or Blu-ray. This I have on VHS. I need to get this on Blu-ray. The Blair Witch Project. It's an artisan release. And this to me is monumental because this is like one of the first lost footage type of movies, another blockbuster release. Blair Witch Project. And they came out with the blockbuster exclusive Sticks and Stones. Blockbuster Artisan special release here. Let me show you the top of these two. The Cell. Blackula. Scream, Blackula Scream. And the Blair Witch Project. Next we have Book of Shadows, Blair Witch 2, which did not do as well as the first one. I don't know if you guys remember the old blockbuster days when they used to have the previously viewed movies like 4 for $20, stuff like that. I used to eat that stuff up. I really did. All the ball under the budget back then. Book of Shadows. Blair Witch 2, Book of Shadows. Next, and I just talked about the remake, Salsky. One of my subscribers mentioned the reboot of Evil Dead and Evil Dead Rising. Evil Dead Rising, excellent movie. Both great reboots to a cult classic, Evil Dead. And of course, I have Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. And who released Evil Dead? Who's the distributor on this? Oh, another Anchor Bay. This one, Vestron release, if you guys remember them. Next, have the classic Nightmare on Elm Street, a media release. She won't wake up at all. Very fun movie, very fun. They just came out with the 4K on this. You have the side art, media, how far we've come from VHS to 4K. Next, we have the original Halloween, John Carpenter, another media release. Media releases were real big for horror pictures back in the day for VHS. And lastly, Halloween 3, Season of the Witch, and MCA release. I believe, yeah, this is the one with the mask. Either you love this movie or you hate this movie, one or the other. The reason why most people hate it because it has nothing to do, is it Michael Myers? Or did it do Michael Myers? Yeah, Michael Myers. This one has nothing to do with Michael Myers. If it does, it's very loosely related, if I can remember correctly. But really solid movie. Actually, it could be a movie by its own. It doesn't have to be part of the franchise. They just slapped Halloween on it. So those are my VHS classic horror. And lastly, I'm going to top it off with a vintage DVD set, Nightmare on Elm Street. Let me back this up a little bit, okay, so you can see everything. And I keep these boxed because I have the Blu-ray in the shelf, but I couldn't bear to part with this. I just thought the whole packaging was so cool. All the movies on the back. Oh, and you get the raised printing on the cover. Well, it's really cool. Each set makes up the back of Freddy. And you have disc one. These are the old snap cases. This is all New Line Cinema. Nightmare on Elm Street. Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Freddy's Revenge. That's better. Again, Nightmare on Elm Street. First one. Nightmare on Elm Street 2. You gotta love the artwork too. Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Next, you have the third one, which arguably is the best one, the Dream Warriors. Whenever I hear commentaries about the series, normally this is the one that everyone loves. Aside, of course, from the first one. So I would say this is either first or second. If I had to choose as far as the series, this is either the first or the second best out of the series. Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master. 5, The Dream Child. And I think at this point they really started going downhill after that. They're just kind of beating a dead horse in the franchise. Be interested to see if they try to, I know they did a reboot, which wasn't very good. I'm just wondering, since we're in the age of reboots, if they're going to try to bring back Freddy. That'd be interesting. Wouldn't be surprised. They brought everything else back. So then you have Freddy's Dead, The Final Nightmare. Again, I love the artwork on both the cover and the disc. Then you have Wes Craven's A New Nightmare. I hear this one get drugged in the mud all the time. It wasn't that bad. It was very tongue-in-cheek. They were making fun of itself, of the franchise, almost at this point. And I believe this is like a bonus disc. The Nightmare Series Encyclopedia. I don't think I've ever seen this. And lastly, you have the very colorful booklet. Very cool. You gotta love all these extras, especially if you actually have the time. Lawrence, I forgot Lawrence was in the series. A young Lawrence. I think he was Larry Fishburne back then. In fact, I think this was Johnny Depp's first major picture also. So a lot of people cut their teeth off of Freddy. And this is my Nightmare on Elm Street collection. If you made it this far in the video, go ahead and smash the like. Give me the big thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe. Leave some comments. Tell me what you think. If you have some other ideas for horror videos for the month, leave it in the comments. Other than that, may the best of your past be the worst of your future. Everyone be safe. Deuces.